Welcome to Atlanta News First Sports Tonight. It's Fred and Fred tonight.
Third
Fred
time's the
Campagna,
charm.
Fred Khalil. Yeah, let's do it, baby. We got
This
lots
is
to
my
talk.
third time.
Is this your third time?
Just my third time? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe.
Well, we want you on more than that, Fred. Come on.
All right. I'm always game
We'll
to come
talk
back.
to your agent. I know that. We got to talk to your agent to make that happen. All right, let's talk about first. Let's start with the Falcons, and there's some free agency. They got a quarterback. He's from around here, Collins Hill High School.
Okay.
Taylor Heineke. He was okay with the Redskins. I mean, he came in and did a decent job,
Yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah.
He signed as a backup.
Well, he's number 4. He's a gunslinger, and he'll be playing for the Falcons. So, 32 years ago, they had another number 4 gunslinger that they ended up
Trading, yeah.
shipping up to Green Bay. But he is kind of like a dollar store Brett Favre at times.
A dollar store Brett Favre. I like that. No, that's good.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, he likes to gamble. He gets out of the
Yeah.
pocket. He throws him a little wild every once in a
Yep.
while, but he's got a cannon, so
yeah.
he can
I mean,
let
for the
it
most
rip.
part, you get like half of the good stuff that you got from prime Brett Favre and twice of the bad stuff that you got from prime Brett Favre. So
I guess
if
that's-
he could flip that around and go
But
to
you
the
know,
Hall
I
of Fame.
mean, how about the collective bargaining agreement and the money that these guys are making now? Back
Yeah.
up.
What
14, you know.
what was the deal for?
It was a 2-year deal. 14 could go up to 20 million, depending on
Okay.
how much he plays. Over 6 guaranteed,
Yeah. Well,
and he turns 30 tomorrow.
wow. Oh, I didn't realize he was that old.
That's pretty good.
So you said depending on how much he plays, how much do you think he'll play? Do you think that they will have a competition for the quarterback job?
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll say they are going to have a competition for the quarterback job, but I mean, even Arthur Smith said, he was brought in here to be a backup.
Okay.
A backup, to Desmond Ritter. So, but he's a veteran guy, obviously, and
Yeah.
he's a guy that played well. I mean, for the Washington Commanders last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he had some good money. I mean,
Yeah.
some good numbers. What he, the guy
I actually
was,
kind of like him. I mean,
was
I know I said
382 for
I said
493.
dollar store Brett Favre.
Well, I
but
mean, he's
it's
thrown
just-
for over 5,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, 21 interceptions.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
He's incredible at diving for the pylon.
Yes, he is.
He really is.
He's done a great job of that.
I mean, for
and he
a guy
did a
who
good job of
hasn't
that
started-
against the Falcons too.
Yeah, for a guy who hasn't started a lot of games, he's probably leads the league in touching the pylon with the football, which is a touchdown, of course.
That
So
is a
good
tip,
for him.
Yeah. I mean, he does it
Yeah.
for a reason, right? No,
Yeah.
he is very good at that. But I think that's kind of cool. How about some other big free agent moves?
Well,
huh?
the Falcons doing a
that the
bunch.
Falcons made. Yeah,
Yeah, bring in-
Jonnu Smith. What do you think of that guy? Because
Well,
you're a Patriots fan. So
Had him in New England
talk
for a
about
couple
that.
of years. I think the first year he did not completely understand the offense. I think that was a problem the first year. Second year, he had some flashes. I mean, Jonnu Smith is such a good athlete that if you can get him the ball in space, he's usually going to run straight down the field, faster than most tight ends, and run into the first person that he can see. But if he can avoid that first person that he sees,
He can avoid the first guy.
yeah. No, I like Jonnu Smith, and I think that Arthur Smith had him in Tennessee.
They did.
Helped him to get the big contract in
Right.
New England. He's still only 26,
27, yeah, right.
27. So still has some tread on the tires for sure. And Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, it's pretty dynamic at the tight end position, I think.
I think that really makes Arthur Smith as a play caller.
Yeah.
I think that opens up a lot for him because he can put it both on the field. And Pitts is a guy who's athletic enough to really kind of split out a little bit.
Yep.
Flex him out. They could run off of the formation, pass off the formation. It just opens up the offense more. I think it's a think to get him.
Yeah,
I really
think
do.
you get Smith a little more downfield. You get
Pitts.
Pitts a little more downfield, and you get Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith's a great guy that if you can get him in the right matchup and get him the ball in the flat, he will get you, 15, 20, 25 yards on that play because he is an athletic tight end for sure, pretty good blocker. He did see the field a lot for the Patriots, even though his numbers weren't that great. So in order to see the field a lot as a Patriot, you have to be able to block.
Right. Well, I
in
was
the
going
run
to say
game, so.
that's a big thing that Arthur Smith wants too. Is he wants a blocker because he wants to run the football. So if you're a tight end in his offense, you're going to have to block.
Yeah, it cost a 7th-round pick and the money, really.
Right.
But Falcons have the money. Well,
Right.
they're running out of it as they spend it
Yeah,
on all
right.
these guys. But this Falcons free agency actually seems a little bit to me like the Patriots free agency of a couple of years ago, where they are spending a lot. I think the number I saw was 233.
Yeah,
Is that right?
that's a lot.
$233 million. Do you know anything about the defensive tackle there from New Orleans?
David Onyemata?
Yeah.
That his name? No, I just know that. I mean, obviously, you got the defensive coordinator from the Saints
Okay.
coming in, so he wants his guy. So
Okay,
he must be a guy that he likes.
That's a good point. That's
I
a
haven't
good
seen
point.
him a lot,
Yeah.
Also, Caden Ellis, 3 years, $21.5 million. He gets $11 million guaranteed.
Right.
So the defensive coordinator obviously wants his guys in there.
Couple of guys from New Orleans and
a tackle and a linebacker. So we'll see.
Yeah.
The Falcons. Look, the people ran the ball on them.
Yeah.
They got trucked up the middle. Okay.
Right.
They got to have somebody that can plug the middle.
Right.
They got to be able to play up front. And neutralize the offensive line a little bit.
Right.
Just a little bit.
And let's face it, there are not many defensive tackles after Aaron Donald and maybe one or two other guys that you actually even hear about.
Right.
So, but there are plenty of, I'm sure, quality players at that position. A lot of times it's just filling a gap, and just doing what you need to do so that somebody behind you or to the right or left of you can actually make the play.
Let the linebacker make the play.
Exactly. So hopefully that's what he does. This is actually the signing that I think is the best for the Falcons, which is Jesse Bates.
4 years, $64 million. He'll get $23 million in year one.
Yeah.
But he was a second-round pick of Cincinnati. He's 27 years old. So
Prime
he's still
of his
young.
career. Perfect timing to get that top safety on the market. I know that as a Patriots fan, I was thinking, okay, maybe because Devin McCourty retired, but they weren't willing to spend that kind of money for a safety. But I think he's a great player. I think he's going to hurt Cincinnati because now they've lost Von Bell and him in their defensive backfield. So they're going to need to retool that for sure. But if he's as good as he was with Cincinnati, with the Falcons, that's definitely going to help a lot with their defense overall, which needed help, like you said. These two guys from New Orleans maybe a little bit under the radar, but when it's the defensive
They've got to
coordinator
be able to
from New
stop the
Orleans,
run. Well, they know, they'll know his system, so that'll put them ahead of the game.
Yeah.
The question is, can they make the plays? That's what it always comes down to.
Yeah.
And they got to have some defensive line play. They got to have some, like I said, some people that can neutralize, the run game a little bit. They got to be able to stop it. I know that sounds old and all that, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
Von Bell, a young man that played his high school ball up in North Georgia on the Tennessee border.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ridgeland
High
Adams
School.
the list, that long list of
Yeah,
Georgia guys in the NFL. And then they brought back their all-pro guard, Chris Lindstrom. So,
Chris Lindstrom, I want to ask you about that. $105 million for a left guard. What do you think? Highest
I don't know how much
left guard
in the league.
ever.
Okay. Oh, wow. Ever.
yeah.
Well, that would make sense. Again, left guard is a little bit like defensive tackle. It's not like a glamour position where you're going to hear that much about him. You usually hear a little bit more about the tackles.
Right. The tackles pull really, I think, as much as the guards in the pro offense.
He must be – I would say that's probably what the market's getting up to for the top guys in the league. And if he's a top guy in the league, he's an all-pro. So
Right,
he's a top guy in the league.
He went to the Pro Bowl, no doubt.
The salary cap keeps going up, so to have these unprecedented contracts, I mean, that's just going to happen year to year
with the salary cap
as there's
going
more
up.
and more money to spread around. But, that's big, too. It seems to me that what the Falcons' approach to free agency here was to, plug as many holes as they could, right?
Yeah.
And quickly. Because if you look at what the Falcons have done, and I'll go back to New England because that's the team that I watched the closest, has done basically nothing. Re-signed Jonathan Jones, Georgia guy.
Right.
Let Jacoby Myers go, let some other guys go, but they haven't. At least I haven't checked in the last half hour or so, but they haven't done much at all. So the Falcons were like, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do it early. We're not going to wait around. Bill Belichick likes to wait around and shop a little bit in the bargain bins, after everybody's been through for the big rush.
And coach them up, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no green bananas for the Falcons, man. I mean, come on. They don't have time to buy green bananas. They got to go now.
Yeah.
They need to win now.
Right.
They can't
Arthur Blank's not getting younger,
No.
so he probably wants a winner soon.
Sure. I mean, I would if I was him. If I spent that kind of money, I would want to win right away. Come on.
And back to where we started with the Falcons before we go on to some other NFL moves. In terms of a backup, you're not going to do much better, I don't think, than Taylor Heineke.
No, I think he's a great backup because look what he did. He came in and played well as a starter.
Took the Commanders
in Washington when
to
he
the
had
playoffs.
to. Yeah,
when they were the football team, and then last year was all right, and then for whatever reason, Dan Snyder or whatever reason, they decided to go back to Carson Wentz toward the end of the season.
Right? Yeah. Why?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes you
because,
wonder.
I mean, that guy,
I know why. Because Heineke had reached a point that if he kept getting wins, they were like $1 million
they got to pay him.
each.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
They were the way his contract was structured. I'm not saying that's definitely the reason.
You're not
but
saying
it's-
that. No, we're
but
not saying
it's,
we're not insinuating any of that.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Dan Snyder wouldn't do any of that.
All right,
right?
what do we got? Some other.
How about some other
big
NFL
news.
moves? Darren Waller to the Giants.
Yeah.
To the
so it's funny
from the Giants to the Giants from the Raiders.
Right.
3rd round pick.
So there was one of those graphics it showed like the pictures of the players, and it said like who's stopping this offense. It was Daniel Jones,
Right.
Saquon Barkley, Darren Waller, the other guy that came on at wide receiver. I
Right.
forget his name off the top of my head, and like one of the other wide receivers is like, well, Daniel Jones is probably stopping that offense. No,
Yeah, I think that's it. That's the only guy that could do it, right?
right. No,
I would
I
have
mean,
to say.
Daniel Jones is all right. They paid him like he's a top tier starter, but yeah, it's a good move for the Giants. I mean, I think Darren Waller is a great tight end. 3rd round pick was I think what they traded to get
Right.
him. He's got a big contract for a tight end, but
$51 million. That's 3 years, right? That's
Yeah.
$17 million. Yeah,
right. But
that's
the
a lot.
Patriots just gave Jonnu Smith a ton of money a couple of years ago, and that didn't work out, and they moved on from it. So yeah, I think that's a good move for the Giants. Definitely going to be a little bit more dynamic on offense, and Daniel Jones seems like the kind of QB who kind of wants that reliable tight end. They might be a good outlet for him to go to.
Okay, now let's talk about this. Jimmy G to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
He's going across the base, so the Niners are going to go with their guys, Brock Purdy
Yeah.
and Trey Lance.
Right.
So Jimmy G's getting paid.
They're going with Sam Darnold out there, but we may as well
Sam
skip down to
Darnold,
that
too,
one.
that's
So
right,
you
yeah.
got Darnold.
Sam
and
Darnold with
Lance.
the 49ers for 1 year,
Yeah.
right? So that tells me they don't trust Trey Lance. They've never trusted the guy.
Well,
Why'd
what
they
about
pick
Purdy?
him? And Purdy, they don't trust either one of them, obviously. But, I mean, Trey Lance, why'd they draft him where they did? I mean, they're hanging on to him.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, the injuries, for sure, have been a big factor in stunting the beginning of his career. But the Sam Darnold signing was a little bit curious. Maybe just to have a veteran in there. I don't know. I thought Purdy was great when he was in, and then he had the UCL injury. So maybe they think there could be some lingering effects from that.
could be,
It
yeah.
might last a little bit longer. I mean, it was pretty significant. He could not throw the ball. Those UCL injuries can linger a little bit.
Right.
But Jimmy G to the Raiders, along with another Georgia guy, Lithonia's own Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah,
There it is,
from
yeah.
my Patriots over to the Raiders. So the Raiders subtract Waller, add Myers. So now they have Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow and Jacoby Myers and a couple other guys in there as the weapons for Jimmy G to go with the running back. What's his name? Jacobs.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a pretty good offense.
It is a good offense.
If they can protect Jimmy G, which the Raiders tend to usually have a pretty good offensive line.
Yeah, they do. They've had a good offensive line
Yeah.
over the years, historically.
Right.
No doubt.
So I actually think that's a perfect Jimmy G offense because every one of those guys, Jacoby Myers, he had to do it in New England. He was like the only weapon that they had. Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow can all get open on those little option routes. Every
Underneath
play,
and then let 'em go.
Jimmy G loves those. He wants Jimmy G strikes me as the type of quarterback who wants to know where he's going with the football before he even snaps it. So that's a good group of wide receivers for him to have.
That is.
So-
Although the Raiders historically love to go deep. They got to.
No, I mean
love
Al
to go-
Davis, R.I.P. That was that was
Davis.
more of his thing, I think. And maybe they don't care as much about what Mark Davis thinks, but that was Al Davis loved the fastest guy.
Let's
in
go,
the NFL.
baby. Let it go,
Let's get the
man.
Fastest
Well,
guy
yeah,
in the
he
NFL.
got now Al Davis. Wait a minute, hold on now. Don't take
Yeah.
me back that far. I mean, I know he had Olympic sprinters on his team. Okay, so
Well, and like Jeff George, a quarterback. Go back then.
Jeff
I mean,
George,
they were
my
just
goodness,
slinging
no.
it.
Yeah, letting it rip.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like way back. But anyway, all right.
You're
here we
going
go.
back to like
I'm going way
Stabler,
back. No, I'm not that old. Come on.
Plunkett.
Plunkett came after Stabler, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out where you're going.
Yeah, Plunkett, he threw it deep, right?
Yeah. All right.
Those guys, they threw it deep. All right, here we go. Your buddy now.
My buddy.
Packers and Jets again.
No,
with a-
wait, let's go. I do want to quickly touch on Jalen Ramsey before we get to that.
Oh, Jalen Ramsey. Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
Jalen Ramsey, the Dolphins. Dolphins are just accumulating guys. That's what they're doing right now.
That's it?
Just a bunch of names. They got Chubb from the Broncos. They got Ramsey. They have, the other corner is really good with the Dolphins. But Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
So they have a big name defense that's going to have to put up. And their defense wasn't spectacular, so we shall see.
Now, now you remember maybe the best Miami defense was the
No-name.
No-name
That's
defense.
right.
There you go. So now they're going for the big-name defense.
It is, though. There's a lot of and the Dolphins in general are now accumulating a team that's just it's almost Rams-esque in terms of, like, there's just a bunch of guys who have been all pro or Pro Bowlers. So we'll see. There's a 51-man roster. Is that what it is? You know, for a reason, whatever that roster number is. So
53.
We'll see 53. That's right, 53.
53.
You need depth in the NFL. So
You got to have it, and you got to be good at selecting your backups because it's not 53 doesn't leave you a lot of depth, right?
And Jalen Ramsey's good, and he'll be the first one to tell you that he is. And we'll see in the NFL. We'll see how what's going to be interesting. Dolphins practice.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
you get those two corners,
yeah.
and then you get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
I mean, yeah.
And then Tua throwing it at everybody's ankles. So it should be fun.
Tua throwing at everybody's ankles.
All right.
All right, here we go. We're going to move on now. Let's go here. We're going to Packers and Jets again. Talking more about Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Your favorite quarterback.
My favorite quarterback. Actually,
I'm joking.
Yeah, right. But I actually don't have a huge opinion on Aaron Rodgers other than he seems to be following the exact same career arc as Brett Favre. Right down to, like, his stats in the last game that they played at Lambeau were basically identical, and now this move to the Jets would be identical.
Identical, right.
But he's announcing it tomorrow on a podcast or a show, Pat McAfee's show.
McAfee's show, yeah.
What do you think he's going to do?
What do I think? I think he's going to try to stay with Green Bay.
Really?
I do. I think
because Mark Murphy, I think his name is, the Packers president, was talking this weekend, and it almost sounded past tense when he was talking about Rodgers.
Well, I mean, I think stranger things have happened. I just don't know. I mean, if he goes to the Jets, you say this to everybody. I mean, if you go to New York, he's had it made in Green Bay with the media. Yeah. Being nice and all that. He's going to go to New York, and they're going to come after him, man. If he doesn't play well or something goes wrong, they're going to come after him.
He loves confrontation. He lives for that. I mean, he's just this guy who doesn't really talk to his own family, so he's
so he doesn't really care about any media people, right?
Right, exactly.
Doesn't even talk to his own family.
So he'll be right at home with that. He'll invite that. I saw that he apparently gave a list of players.
Yeah, he gave a list of receivers that he wants. Hey, give me these guys, please.
Yeah, but every single one of them it's like Randall Cobb,
right?
Kind of washed. Mercedes Lewis, older guys. I mean, I'm not positive, but I think Jordy Nelson and Sterling Sharp might have been on the list as well.
Michael Irvin, maybe
possibly
right from the Longest
Antonio
Yard
Freeman.
remake.
But I mean, just it'll be interesting because I feel like if he goes to the Jets, were building something there. Clearly, they were missing a quarterback.
Right.
But they were building something. He goes to the Jets. He's such a big, figure. He'll become the Jets. And the fact that he could be wanting to bring in his own wide receivers, and they already got rid of Berrios, and it's not like the Jets had the good rookie Wilson, but other than that, they could use some help at wide receiver. I don't know. It'll be interesting. The Jets seem to have like a defensive identity going last year, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think there's almost as much chance that he's just going to walk away, just going to retire.
You think so?
Why wouldn't he have done the deal yet? What's the holdup?
Well, I don't know.
He says he doesn't want to hold up anybody, hold up the Packers or hold up anybody else. So,
Does he announce his retirement and then maybe come out of it, like in August, in a training camp? Hey, here, somebody gets hurt.
I think he's the kind of guy.
Somebody gets hurt. Hey, come on in.
Yeah, I feel like he's the kind of guy that once he goes away, he'll go away.
He'll go away? He's not going to go away. He's just going to retire, Fred. You think he's going to go away?
No, definitely not. This is a guy who thought he was going to host Jeopardy.
Yeah,
of
course.
So he's not going. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
right.
They're going to find a game show for him in LA to host, right? Yeah.
Probably. You're probably right about that.
Why not? Yeah.
He might be good at it too. I don't. I think he's. I think Aaron Rodgers is all right. I think in the right setup that could actually work with him hosting. He's got a dry sense of humor, but
he does. Yeah, I mean, he did a good job. I thought when he hosted.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he was decent at it for a guy who was basically thrown into it.
But here's the thing, though, Fred. When those guys do those things, I'm not going to say they really don't care, but I mean, they're not nervous because they really don't. It's no big deal, to them. I mean, he wanted to do a good job.
Yeah.
And and so he probably
I think
was
he was
just
probably
himself.
more nervous doing that than he would be like taking the first snap of the season.
You think?
I think
Maybe.
so.
You
Yeah,
might have been
because
a little nervous,
it's
yeah,
out of
but-
your out of your comfort
Out of your
zone.
comfort zone, yeah.
A little bit.
But
So, I mean, I heard, this is kind of off the topic, but I heard that Tom Brady is working on a stand-up comedy career.
what?
No, seriously. I heard
That's
that.
kind of off topic, but you know what? It's a good topic. So wait a minute. So Tom Brady,
Yes.
a stand-up comedy routine.
Yes.
Wow.
I know.
That would be interesting. I mean, obviously it just
If you wanted to say,
mean,
like, what's
it's
the
the-
hardest thing you could do,
stand-up comedy
that
has got
would
to
be
be right
up
there, man. I mean, it's
right
got to be up there.
So maybe he's just looking for that next big challenge.
Maybe he's
I
going to
don't
do that. Maybe he's going to do the stand-up comedy. They're going to bring a laugh track with him. So, hey,
Yeah.
that joke was funny. Yeah, play the laugh track.
Guy, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, so Aaron Rodgers, I would say lowest chance goes back to the Packers, second lowest chance retires, and then most likely I think ends up at the Jets.
Ends up with the Jets.
Yeah, it's hard to walk away from $53 million, but
It
if
is.
anybody would do it, I think it would be Rodgers, and I think he'd let everybody know for the rest of eternity that he walked away from $53 million.
Fred,
Yeah.
the big Aaron Rodgers fan.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up next?
Okay, Kirby Smart defending the program's culture
Hmm.
in Athens. Of course, there was a tragic accident that where a staff member and a player passed away
Right.
after the national championship celebration.
Yeah.
That was really a horrific
Overshadowed.
night. Yeah.
Very, very quickly overshadowed the back-to-back championships.
Yeah, it really did.
And then just compounding with other
Other
players,
players getting in trouble.
involved in that incident, allegedly, and
Right.
then getting in trouble for speeding,
Right.
whatever
Being arrested
Stetson
for
Bennett
different things,
did,
right, yeah,
just
those
door to
things.
door in Houston or
Hammered,
Dallas
yeah.
or wherever he was
Right,
that
yeah.
morning in Texas, just a little door to door, just knocking on some
Right.
doors,
Yeah, so-
seeing who's around.
Hey, it's Stetson. You there?
Exactly. So that,
Booty knock.
making light of that, but the serious
No,
stuff that happened, and well, I mean, obviously you would expect Kirby Smart to defend the culture.
Sure.
For the most part, up until this offseason, hasn't been a real problem
There's not been a whole
or
lot.
a
No.
publicized problem
No.
anyway.
Right.
So who knows how much. I think some of what happened was just this the culture might have been a little just too much entitlement within
Yeah.
Athens, and that may not have even stemmed necessarily from Kirby Smart,
No.
right?
I
So
think
if a guy catches a break from an Athens cop because the
Right.
Athens cop is like, well, it's a UGA
he's a big fan.
player.
Yeah. I
right.
mean,
Is
that
that-
happens on every campus.
Is
Believe
that
me.
Kirby's fault, Coach Smart's fault, or is that
Well,
a problem with just the community in general? So
well, and that's the thing. But he knows the head coach is responsible, so he's the one that's going to
right,
get the heat.
right. And I think I said this last time I was on, but these guys, even before all this, some of it horrible and just negative stuff happened during the off season, that this crew for Georgia was in for some tough spring practices.
Yeah.
And I think that not only are they getting the tough spring practices, because that's Kirby Smart's MO, is that last year does not matter
Right.
going forward. There's probably a much higher level of potential disciplinary action or just oversight of the program, I would say.
Exactly. I would have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
What's on your mind, Fred?
It's a good question. What's on my mind? World Baseball Classic is
Yeah.
going on.
Right.
Kind of interesting. Couple of notes from that. I saw Venezuela playing the DR. Did you
They're
see
loaded,
that?
man. That was a heck of a game.
Yeah, and the emotions.
Both. Oh yeah, both
the-
teams are loaded.
The level of intensity in that game.
Yeah.
A lot of national pride going on for both those teams.
I think that's what makes the World Baseball Classic
Yeah.
so fun. I mean, people come out, the fans are obviously have a lot invested because that's their team, literally their team, their guys.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of neat.
So that stood out. You see Shohei Ohtani's home run ball? Did you catch that one?
It was a long one.
It was a long one, but did you? So the woman who caught it passed it around the entire section so people could hold it, take pictures with
Yeah.
it, whatever, and then it just came back to her.
That was nice.
Yeah, nice, culturally different. I don't think that happens in the Bronx.
No. I think Jimmy's taking that
Right.
baseball.
What are
and-
the odds that baseball
Right.
gets back to you from
Yeah,
like 40
exactly.
seats down and 2 rows back?
And that's another thing that's good about the World Baseball Classic. I mean, that's,
exactly.
they love the game. Those fans
Mm-hmm.
love the game, and they love to be at the park.
I saw something that the U.S. players, there's some restrictions or considerations they're calling them about like how much guys should pitch or whatever because it is getting close to the season.
It is getting close, right? Yeah.
So that's the built-in excuse for the U.S. team if they don't do what do well like they're supposed to. I did see you like this one, Fred. Italy, their celebration when they hit a double.
yeah.
So like
Hey.
everybody's got a celebration. Some guys do like the quiver or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's his.
Hey,
this
there it
one.
is, the
Yeah.
paisan.
Yeah.
Hey,
So they go like
molto
this.
bene.
And they also had an espresso machine in the dugout.
Why not?
Yeah, it's fun.
come on.
Mike Piazza too, managing the team, which is kind of interesting. The Italian team.
It is neat. Well, he's Italian. So.
And can't show this, but Great Britain's uniforms, possibly the worst ever in the history of sport.
Yeah.
Just like grayish blue with like the words Great Britain across. So
Great.
yeah.
So it looks kind of like the old Expos uniform, so to speak.
I can't even describe it. It looks like my first uniform, like basically like a T-ball team's uniform.
Who was your first team? What was your first team?
The Lobster Pot was the name of the business, the restaurant, and we were called the Gourmets. Get it?
Yeah, I got
Gourmets.
you. The Gourmets. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we were Hoffman
Yeah.
Heating and Air.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want
The
to
Braves.
talk next
the
time,
Braves, actually. They were the Braves. The
Next time
Hoffman
we
Heating-
may be in baseball season, I'll tell you about some of my Little League highlights.
Why not? Let's talk
'cause
about
that's-
that.
I'm sure that's what anybody
stealing
who's watching
bases
wants
and
to know.
things, how you steal
Yeah,
it,
I was a pitcher.
Got to wait till the pitcher lets go of the
I was
ball.
a pitcher. When that mound was 45 feet, I was
Oh,
lethal.
man, he was
when it
zinging
went to
it.
60 feet,
Not so
I was
much.
small. All right.
All
I guess
right,
we're getting the
Sports
wrap
Tonight.
sign.
That was great. Thanks, Fred, for stopping by.
All right, Fred.